Intel Core i9 10th Gen 10900k CPU review. Is it worth the price? Hello lovely YouTube family, welcome back to Bite Me. Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. I hope you guys find our videos informative and appealing to your interest. The video is going to be about the new Intel Core i9 10th Gen 10900k CPU review. Is it worth the price? I hope you guys enjoy it, and here we go. Stay tuned to the very end, guys. The Intel Core i9 10900k connects itself as the most active gaming processor on the market. It comes at a fair price, but the added fulfillment comes at the expense of strangely high power consumption. The merits are heading gaming execution, cheaper per core pricing, and strong in single and multi-threaded applications. The demerits are high energy consumption, short overclocking headroom, PCIe 3.0 interface, thermal output, cooling conditions, and new motherboard necessities. Intel wheeled up the power for its new Halo $488 Comet Lake S Core i9 10900k with 2 additional cores for 20 threads and a sum of 10 cores. Apart from the hope of world-leading gaming performance, Intel also reduced the gen-on-gen price to help resist AMD's Ryzen processors that hold dominion over the list of best gaming processors. Intel intends to have the Core i9 10900k as the quickest gaming processor in the whole world. That execution comes mostly via the extra cores of the processor and pre-overclocked to an all-core 4.9 GHz and a peak of 5.3 GHz speeds. In terms of threaded performance, Intel's Core i9 10900k doesn't equal AMD's Halo 16-core 32-thread Ryzen 9 3950X. Rather, the 10900k encounters the 12-core 24-thread Ryzen 9 3900X in terms of both production and cost. Still, Intel's chip has the highest energy dissipation all over on the mainstream desktop. Intel rates the processor for 250 watts, and we measured peaks as 325 watts at the peak, which results in a quantity of heat output. The 10900k's high energy expenditure even conquered our 288mm water cooler during remarkable tasks, so a big cooler is used to handle the elevated heat amount. Intel also combined several new peculiarities to the product to satisfy lovers, like per-core hyper-threading changes, new tunable knobs, and reworked overclocking software. Although the Core i9 10900k is an overclocked processor, there's little overclocking headroom with conventional cooling. Certain tricks used include thinning the die and using a thicker heat spreader, but they are not that effective. If the user has sufficient cooling, the Core i9 10900k is absolutely the fastest gaming processor in the business, and it offers astonishingly snappy and solid performance in lightly threaded apps and heavily threaded workloads, respectively. Despite its greedy energy consumption and large heat production, the 10900k finds some demand for performance lovers who love to celebrate on a hearty motherboard. Energy accumulation and big cooler, but mostly cheaper alternatives are used. Intel decreased the price of gen-on-gen Core i9 by 20% per core. On other downstream models, cut pricing is up to 50% per thread, like the Core i7, i5, and i3 lineups that now have hyper-threading mechanisms. The beefier Noctua NH-D15 has been tested and is found to satisfy cooling demands in conventional desktop PC applications, but it has specific effects on the performance rates mainly. The users will also need specific cooling mechanisms for the motherboard. Taking care of these, a small part is said to be completed. Intel widened out its current 14nm++ die and the interconnection with Skylake architecture for the Core i9 10900k. The integrated Ultra HD Graphics 630 engine prevails constantly and is now usable in all forms, and the users have the option to purchase graphics-less F-Series variants so they can save more or less than $16. Now let us move on to the Intel Core i9 10900k stipulations and pricing. The high price is explained by the more powerful clock rates, additional cores, quicker executions, and all the energy burning. Intel has supported Turbo Boost Max 3.0 technology. Its TVB mechanism is obtained from its mobile chips, thus creating a multi-tiered boost implementation. It can be complicated and also confusing. Turbo Boost 2.0 helps to increase the frequency of the chip works beneath energy, current, and heat stipulations. Turbo Boost Max 3.0 helps to recognize the most racing cores. Single-core thermal velocity boost can help to boost higher than Turbo Boost Max 3.0 when all cores are active. All-core thermal velocity boost helps increase the all-core frequency. TVB is an extra cover to the boost mechanism of Intel, and according to Intel, it gets involved if the processor remains below 70C. Nevertheless, all-core TVB frequency is routinely employed despite the chip heat. This means motherboard merchants are yet loose to neglect Intel's power recommendations essentially, but still that appears with an enormous power responsibility. Intel aims to implement the ultimate in single-core performance, and that persists its critical power against AMD's Ryzen processors in lightly threaded tasks. Provided suitable cooling and energy offering, you can operate 5.3 GHz in lightly threaded work and also 4.9 GHz in commanding all-core workloads. Intel doesn't ensure that users see turbo boost frequencies during regular handling. The chip is open to bounce to 250 watts throughout the boosted activity. Also, the motherboard business people can neglect those boundaries. Intel's Core i9-10900k also appears with several additional features, such as advanced memory maintenance that springs from DDR4 2666 to DDR4 2933. Even then, it lingers AMD standard DDR4 3200 assistance. Intel also improved the L3 cache to 20 MB, and is quite astonishing. Intel encouraged the PCIe 3.0 interface before, and AMD passed on to PCIe 4.0 long ago. We can clearly see that the higher price is due to the additional features, and it is the choice of the user to opt for it or not. It depends on the user's needs, and this product is highly recommended and worthy of its price for high-performance lovers. I guess this is it for today's video. I hope you guys find it informative and exciting. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned until we're back with yet another fantastic video from our side. Till then, please support us, stay tuned, and goodbye, guys.